gonna make a Rosemary-Parmesan focaccia bread. We have to make sure that we make the dough the day before we wanna bake it. So the first thing we're gonna do is add some flour, yeast, and salt into the bowl. And what we wanna do is just give this a slight mix just to incorporate the ingredients. Next, we wanna add the water. And we add that water to that dry mixture. And you want this dough to be just a little bit sticky. So depending on the conditions in your kitchen, if it's a little warmer or cooler that day, you might need to add just a little bit more water than the 12 ounces. This is a no-knead recipe, so we wanna just make sure that we mix this just until incorporated and don't work the dough too much. I'm just gonna add the last little pinch of that water. So you do want the dough, like I said, to be just a little bit sticky. All right, once our dough is just mixed and we got all that flour incorporated, we're gonna add that to the second bowl. And you want that bowl to be about 2 to 3 times bigger in size than the dough already is. So we're gonna add some olive oil to the bowl, about 2 tablespoons, and really coat the bowl really well. And we take our dough and we add that to that second bowl. And then we're gonna wrap this in plastic and let it sit out on the counter for about 3 to 4 hours, just depending on the temperature of your kitchen. And let it rise. Now that our dough has had its initial rise, we're gonna refrigerate it overnight. We prepared our focaccia dough yesterday. Now we want to take it out of the refrigerator and place it on the counter for about an hour and a half. Now preheat your Wolf oven to 450 degrees in bake stone mode approximately 40 minutes before baking the bread. Now that our dough is at room temperature, we're going to coat the pan with the final 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we want to rub this oil all the way around the pan and even up the sides also. So we're going to take our focaccia dough and we're going to form it into our pan. So we gather that in the center. And if you need some additional olive oil for your fingers, that's fine if the dough's kind of sticky. And we're just going to take this dough and we're just going to work it around and press it all the way to the edges of the pan, like so. Now that our dough is completely formed in the pan, we're gonna cover with plastic wrap, and we're gonna either let it sit out on the counter for about an hour to an hour and a half, or place in the Wolf warming drawer on proof mode at 90 degrees. You can now see that the dough has risen and now tripled in size. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and form our focaccia dough. We wanna take some more olive oil. I like to add as much olive oil as possible to this dough because it really adds in the flavor of the focaccia bread. And now we want to press down to dimple the dough, okay, and pop any air bubbles. We now add some coarse sea salt. And again, that's going to help with the salt that's already in the dough and give it a nice little crunch and some additional salt. And then we want to add our Parmesan. Finally, we're going to add our rosemary. So we're going to chop some rosemary and add it to the top of this. Now we're ready to place the focaccia in your oven for approximately 13 minutes or until golden brown. After 13 minutes, our focaccia is nice and golden brown. I'm now going to cut the bread using my Wolf Gourmet knife. And now the focaccia bread is ready to serve.